I'm Donna Hetzler.
And I'm Sally Smith.
We, just like you, are bravely walking through the dark valleys of life in hopes of scaling joyful summits.
We believe that safe and trusted women are a force to be reckoned with. When we climb together, we can reach the mountaintop.
Many of our challenges come from feeling as if we are stuck while trying to ascend, hiding in crevices, waiting for storms to pass.
Might we suggest that you have a more proactive role in reaching the peaks of your own life?
Let's laugh at the untruths we were taught, from the common religious myths to the lies we believe about our situations and about ourselves.
It is our hope that our time together brings you solace from life's daily drudgery and a bit of lighthearted laughter.
This is a safe place where you are welcome, right where you are, even in your questions and doubts. So rise up, sister. It's time to conquer together.
And we certainly hope you'll say, "Now that's funny!"
Welcome to another episode of That's Funny. And here's your host, Donna Hetzler. And Sally Smith.
It's always a little different each time. It's fun.
Hey, you gotta mix it up a little.
You gotta mix it up.
Keep going. Welcome to another episode of That's Funny. We are wrapping up and dispelling the myth that you are never good enough.
Well, now that's funny. All right, we're going to jump in. Since we did this, we had said we were going to do just a short little, 2-episode deal, and it turned out to be longer. Again, God always does that,
Yep.
right? So we were dispelling that myth of never good enough, and we decided we needed to do some Q&A because we got the outpouring once again. So we're going to jump in and get right to our questions. And so our first one is Gina from Missouri. How can I be better at managing those around the table is what she's asking. That's funny.
Wow, that's really funny, Gina. I think that, this is definitely something, I think that almost is a daily manageable thing. And I think that there's lots of different ways to kind of get better at this.
Okay.
And I think the first thing is you have to do the hard work.
Oh, gosh.
Yep.
Remember, I had a get out of jail free card because I didn't want to do the hard work.
She didn't want to do the hard work.
But that is a good statement.
You have to do a lot of self-reflection.
Yes.
And that's tough. I mean, that's probably one of the toughest things for me because I'm such a perfectionist and I want to be so much to everyone all the time.
Right.
That I can't manage everything, but I need to figure out how. So
you're saying you manage all the exterior voices instead of the inside.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
You have to be conscious of your thoughts.
Right.
I think that's the first thing.
Okay.
And then the second thing is know who's around your table.
Okay.
You know.
Do you we acknowledge them and
acknowledge who's around your table.
Okay.
Identify who's around that table.
Okay.
Acknowledge them.
Okay.
And then you have to step up and you have to take charge.
Right.
You have to be the manager.
Right. You have to rule.
You have to rule. So what all of these different voices you have to make sure that you are the manager of it.
Okay, that's good advice. I also see it as say you were managing a restaurant and you became manager in your 20s, let's just say.
Okay.
And, you are taking time to identify all those that you manage and you're acknowledging them and you're trying to take charge. But if you're in the same management position even 5 or 10 years later, you're going to manage a little bit differently because you're going to have experience doing that, but you're practicing, right? So you have to practice managing those around the table. Okay, that's good advice.
Yes,
all right.
It's tough, but it's good.
Thank you for that question. We appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, we have Mary from Tennessee. I was raised in poverty. I was never good enough. I know the Bible says we are good enough, but how do we live that out?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Man, we might need a whole nother episode on this. Okay, well, Mary from Tennessee, let's talk about, first of all, why we feel like we're not good enough. There's so many things, right? We've got our childhood giants that we talked about in previous episodes. past failures, unhealthy relationships, whether that's, physically abused, emotionally abused, circumstances, all the things that compile in
The
life.
enemy.
Oh, yeah, and the enemy too, right? Oh, duh.
That enemy is the worst
Yeah.
one.
So there's all of those, and you've got to, like you said, even in managing, you've got to be able to do the hard work of self-reflection of, okay, why is it that I don't feel good enough? What is stemming from, okay, I grew up in poverty, what else happened, and kind of identify that. But you're carrying around, and we talked about this in an episode,
We did.
those rocks with those names on it. And so this is poverty, don't have enough, I'm without. And so, just naming that, which you did in your question, which is fabulous. So you
Right.
know what that is, and you can dig deeper about, okay, why is that following me and why am I carrying it? So we can name it and drop it and get rid of it. And then we have to have a different mindset, and we've got to visualize who you are. So it's like, okay, that was me then. I'm not that person now, and where am I headed and where am I going? So then we've got to visualize the future, and then we've just got to claim it and know that Jesus says we are more than enough. So there's not one. I don't want to feel like we're giving you a recipe or a formula, because
Right.
God's not of formulas.
Right.
There's so many avenues of feeling more than enough. But
Well, and we're
Can-
all so unique.
yes,
Like,
and our journeys are totally
our
different.
journeys are different.
Yes.
We're different.
So we, these are just some ideas, friends, that we are putting out there for you. And can we just go off? Like, I know there's more questions, but I feel like we're supposed to linger here.
Oh, dear.
I know you hate
Here
this.
she goes again. What are we going to do?
I just feel like there's this and maybe another episode, and maybe we can get to some more of the questions. There's so much. Okay. So one of the things becoming more than enough is, first of all, like just knowing and sitting with Jesus. And so I feel like maybe we just do a little spiritual exercise right now. Are you up for that? Like if you would be the... Well, I mean, you can all do it with us, of course. I want you all to do it with us, but poor Sally, I always put her on the spot.
Oh.
Don't you wish I had a gift bag right now instead of like asking you to do this?
You don't have one over there?
Yeah, I'm going to after this. I'm going to have to buy her something. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, since we're talking about never good enough, we have to invite Jesus in first. We have to have a relationship with him. We have to know him, and then we can work on being, more than enough. So I think in the next episode, we're going to sit with another spiritual discipline if the Lord leads us that way. But today, let's just do this, okay? So I'm going to walk you through this. Are you ready?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'm so ready.
So you do this with us out there, viewers. And what we're going to do is we're just going to settle ourselves. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to just think of where you're at right this moment. Now, we're in studio. But you could be on a deck out by the water. You could be in a room. Wherever you're at, we just want you to settle yourself, close your eyes. And for you, Miss Sally, we are in studio, so I want you to picture Jesus over by the door. He's standing in the doorway. And in the doorway, he's looking at you. How is he looking at you? And as he approaches you, where do you see him around you? Is he in the distance? Is he close to you? Is he standing? Is he sitting? Where is Jesus in this very moment? What do you need from him right now? Can you tell him? How does he respond? What is he saying to you in this very moment? And then, this is a short version, so you get to open your eyes.
Okay.
This is a very condensed version of the. I did this as well as a spiritual practice, and I still do it kind of weekly. You know, sometimes when I just want to center myself and see where Jesus is at and invite him into the presence and into this prayer time and really get centered with him. And so if we have time, I'll tell you about my experience. But tell me, okay, so first of all, we had Jesus in studio standing in the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
He was there at the beginning. How was he looking at you?
He was smiling at me.
Smiling.
He was smiling at me, almost like a proud father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he say anything else with his eyes or his motions, or was he leaning in the doorway, just standing there?
He was just standing there, and it was off in the distance.
Okay. And then as he approached you, what did he do? Did he, stand next to you?
I saw him coming like right in front of me.
Okay.
Pretty close to me.
Okay. So he was right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did he do?
I just looked at him, and
You
he
just
just looked at me.
Okay.
And I think that, as you were talking, I could hear you saying, like, what is he saying to you? Or what do you want to ask him? And for me, all I can feel at that time, and I feel like if I was in a different setting, I might get a different feeling.
Uh-huh.
But all I could think of is, am I making you proud?
Oh.
And it was, yes, you are making me proud. And, this is like completely outside of my comfort zone.
Right, yes.
Doing this whole show is completely out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
But I do it because I know he is real. And I know that, not that I have to do good works for him,
Right.
but that I want to do good works for him.
Yes.
I want to make a difference for him
Yes.
because he's made such a difference for me. So it was the proudness. It was, am I making you proud?
Why, just out of curiosity, why the question of proud? What was it that you were coming to him for or expecting from him? Was it the affirmation
The
of this?
affirmation of this show. Like,
Okay.
am I, because I am not an expert,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Right.
don't know all the answers. I
Right.
don't have a degree in theology,
Right. I don't
biblical
either.
studies,
Yes.
anything like that. I am just someone who's walked the hard knocks of life
Right.
and want to have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. And so what Sally's saying is we both feel not enough to lead this,
Right.
but through God's power, he does lead, and he does, just like this practice, it's kind of off the cuff and off script. But we want you to know that you are more than enough. And we hope through this practice that you were able to, I know it was very condensed and short, but I hope that you were able to at least see perhaps the love in Jesus' eyes.
Right.
When I did this practice with my spiritual director, Jesus came in, he looked at me very lovingly. And then as he came to me, and I was sitting in her office, and my right shoulder was against a wall in a chair, and she asked me, where was Jesus? And I said, on my left. And she goes, is it because you're against the wall? And I'm like, no, he can stand wherever he wants to. He can get behind the chair and the wall. He's good, right? But I felt like it was on my left because he wanted to tell me something about David, my husband, my left hand, being married. I'm like, I just sensed that. And then next when I saw him, he was almost serving and kind of kneeling before me. And so it was just a beautiful experience. And like I said, this is a very condensed version of this practice. But perhaps this week you can, take a good 10 minutes and 15 minutes and really just picture yourself with Jesus. What is he doing? What is he saying? Have that relationship. Ask him some questions. Are you proud of me? Do you love me? How can I feel more than enough? What do you say about me? And then I think in the next episode we'll expand on this a little bit more and
That would be great. I've never done this exercise before,
Yeah,
this was the first time for me. So
I'm glad he was proud of you
I
because
know.
you don't like to go outside the lines.
I know. I don't like to go outside the line. So he was saying, "You're good, girl. You're good."
Yeah, just hang in there. All right, we hope this was helpful, a little off the cuff. Hopefully we'll get back to some Q&As. Remember, don't believe the lie that you're never good enough. Now that's funny. That was deep.
From the heavens high above, I feel the touch of his laughter and love. In every moment, tear and smile, God's humor is heard every step, every mile.
Man, your voice got deep there.